How's it going, car people? It's Lucas here, back with another video, bringing you an update video on my host family's two vehicles, the 2010 Nissan Pixo and the 2012 Citroen Jumpy. And this will probably be the last video you'll ever see of these cars. Actually, this will be the last video you'll see of these cars because it is currently Saturday, June 8th, and I leave June 10th. Yeah. June 10th, I leave France. So I decided to take this opportunity to film one last update video of those cars because it might be either you'll never see them again or it'll be a long time until they're seen again on my channel. So either way, I wanted to get this update video out just to show you how they've been doing. So I've got the chance right now. So of course, I'm going to give you guys a quick tour and startup of the cars, show you how they're doing. And also, over there, is the infamous tractor that I previously filmed, and also the trailer that survived World War II and came all the way from the United States. The tractor got used today, that's why it's even out, otherwise it would be in the garage, but as you can see, it's got a nice little tarp over it to protect it from like rainy weather when it's sitting outside. The seat is covered. We will not be able to start that one up, despite the fact that it sounds really good, but it doesn't really matter. I've got a video of the tractor and also the trailer, both together in one actually. There's a video of that on the channel. I'll leave the link in the description below if you haven't seen that yet, because honestly, it's one of the more unique videos that I've made, or better said, the tractor is one of the more unique vehicles that I filmed on this channel. So I'll leave links in the description. You can check it out if you haven't yet, and hope you enjoy. Anyways, now let's get back to the cars. Alright, so I'll go ahead and update you on the Pixo first, and then we will do the Jumpy afterwards. So over to the Pixo, it's a 2010 Nissan Pixo. It's a base model, manual windows, locks, mirrors, everything like that. Of course, all of that in power is optional, but this vehicle doesn't have it. That's how basic these vehicles were. This is also the same vehicle as the Suzuki Alto, for anyone wondering. And of course, you can see by the key, very basic. No keyless entry, of course. That is, of course, also optional, which is what you would expect from a 2010 vehicle. So we stick the key in to unlock it the classic way for this one. And one thing that I've also noticed about the locking system, it doesn't have a central locking system. So you know when you unlock the car, it would normally unlock all four of the doors, and then when you would lock it, it would lock all four of them. Not the case on this car. All the doors lock and unlock separately. So that means that if you... Actually, let me go ahead and lock this. This door is now locked. The other doors are still unlocked. And yes, here's proof. These do lock. Let me actually do that right now. And now it's locked. So you would have to go in from the other side and unlock the door like that. That's the only way, because there's no keyhole there. Don't think there's a keyhole on the passenger's side. I never really looked at... Oh, sure enough, there is. But these two doors, still unlocked. And the two doors on the driver's side are locked, because I locked them. Anyways, let's actually go ahead and unlock this now. So that's something kind of interesting about the locking system. And fun fact, my uncle, who lives in the United States, he has a Jeep Wrangler that's also a base model with manual windows, locks, mirrors, everything like that. And it has the exact same thing. Let me actually go ahead and reach back there and unlock the back door. Oh, I found it. Right there. Let's unlock. I think now we're good to go. Sweet. So all doors are unlocked. We'll leave it the way it was, and we'll hop in. It's a 5-speed manual. Let me get the camera to focus. There you go. Seat's a little bit close. Move it back, and we'll start it up. It's got 90,000 kilometers on it. So we'll put our foot on the clutch, turn off the radio, and twist the key to start. Does still start up a little bit slow, but hey, at least it starts. That's good. Unless it was like super unreliable, but I don't really know what the reliability is like on Suzuki. We'll just say Suzuki because let's be honest, this really is a Suzuki Alto. I mean, my dad once had a 2007 Suzuki Swift, which was also a 5-speed manual. The shifter in it looked exactly like this one. Okay, so go ahead and roll down the window for right now, and we will pop the hood, as well as turn on the lights and hazards. It shakes pretty badly as well. That's what I've noticed. Wait, can you pick it up on the camera? Actually, I think easier to pick up here. Yeah, can you see it? The back door is literally shaking. Okay, we'll go ahead and look at the engine. Oh, it's super quiet, what I've noticed. Where's the latch? There it is. Oh yeah, it's really shaking. But it's a 1-liter naturally aspirated 3-cylinder with 67 horsepower and 66 pound-feet of torque. Wow, that thing really is shaking. Honestly, I think it's shaking worse than it was when I first got here to France and when I reviewed it, which was back in January, so about 5 months ago was when I reviewed it. So it's been quite a while since then. Yeah, didn't show you guys the front lights yet. There you go. Then check out the back seat. We'll hop in on the other side. That door's still unlocked. I think this seat is all the way back, or just barely, but, oh wait, actually, never mind. That seat's further back. But yeah, of course, there's really not much room in here. Look at that, back windows opened up as a vent in this car. Yeah, it really shows on the back doors, it's shaking. And I was about to open the trunk, but forgot. You need the key to open it, so we'll look at it afterwards and hop back in for now. Ugh. We'll roll the window back up. Yeah, you do feel some vibration whilst you're sitting inside and it's just running, so that's something. But as far as interior, you can see it's very basic with the single zone manual climate control and the radio and everything. Of course, the 5-speed manual transmission. Reverse. Not a bad little car. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the sun is setting in the background. It's 8:28 p.m. right now. So I've actually still got plenty of daylight. There's about an hour and 10 minutes of daylight left. I looked it up. The sunset is at 9:40 p.m. And that is a benefit that I have during daylight savings time, or in the days leading up to the longest day of the year. I can film cars in the evenings and not have to worry about it getting dark so quick, unlike in winter where it literally gets dark at like 4:30 p.m. Way too early for my taste. Okay, so Pixo, 90,000 kilometers is obviously the mileage as I showed you before. And when I got here 5 months ago, it had 86,000 kilometers on it. So this really does not get used that much, at least compared to the Jumpy. I'll talk a little bit more about that once we get to the Jumpy. The owner of it has a relatively short commute to work. The Jumpy is the main vehicle that gets used for like road trips and stuff like that. This thing is mainly used as a backup car, which makes complete sense because I mean it's not very big. It's a city car. Yeah. You can just tell by the interior, everything is so basic for a 2010. No, I mean, obviously that with the locking system and the manual windows, I mean, that was still a thing in 2012 with those Jeep Wranglers. I just talked about my uncles earlier on in the video. All right, so that's gonna be pretty much it for the Pixo segment, and we will go ahead and move on to the Jumpy next. We'll go ahead and shut it down. And also the chime, for when you stick the key in the ignition. Listen. It's very Suzuki. Anyways, go and move on to the Jumpy. Well, actually, before we officially move on to the Jumpy, I have to take advantage of this. I don't know if you can see it, but there it is. There is a hot air balloon. It's hidden behind the trees. Hopefully it comes up. Here it comes. That is it right there. That is a hot air balloon. That is awesome. Oh, dude, there's another one. I think there's two. I don't know where the other one is. I think it's behind the tree, but it's got a different color scheme on it than the one we just saw. So, 2 hot air balloons. What a record. Alright, so now it's really time to move on to the Jumpy after the Pixo and that entire hot air balloon fiasco. Considering we saw 2 of them, that's pretty awesome. I've never seen, I think this is the first time I've ever seen 2 hot air balloons in such a short time span, so that's quite a record. Anyways, onto the Jumpy. It's a 2012 Citroen Jumpy, aka the vehicle that gets used more often than the Pixo. So let's go ahead and get on with this. Here's the key, very Citroen. it's not really releasing properly anymore. So you kind of have to like use your fingers to get the blade out, because otherwise it won't go out. Anyways, gonna unlock it. Power mirrors. Oh yeah, that passenger mirror is not struggling anymore. Earlier on it was, but does it do that? Oh, it was struggling a little bit there, but in the last vehicle startup video, where this was obviously featured, it was struggling like that, which was kind of awkward. So here we go, it's got the beige cloth interior. This one's not even close to base model. I mean, considering it's got a screen with nav and everything. So we'll start it up, and I made the mistake of putting the keyblade back in, because now, oh, I managed to actually get it out with one hand. That's it, it's cool. 6-speed manual. It is in neutral. It's got 173,000 kilometers on it. Nice. Starts right up every single time. That's something good. Anyways, so we're gonna roll down the window and pop the hood, which is right here. Used to it being there, but in the Jumpy it's right here, as is the parking brake. Just like Aston Martin. We'll also turn on the lights, fogs, and hazards. Alright. So what we've got underneath the hood, takes some effort to open it because it's heavy. It's a 2-liter turbo diesel 4-cylinder with 120 horsepower and 220 pound-feet of torque. Oh, that was loud, and I got a little oil on my fingers, but doesn't really matter. It's really a good engine though. And the Pixo has been relatively reliable so far. I mean, as far as I know, the only issue with it right now is the fact that the engine shakes so badly and frantically shakes the entire car. This engine, despite it being a diesel, is more refined, but I kind of would expect it because as diesels progress, they got a lot more refined. I mean, especially compared to the tractor. That thing is, wow, that thing is not refined, but I mean, it's a tractor, so what can you expect? Here's the wheels. This one's got steelies with hubcaps. Both of them do, actually. No alloys here. Here's the rear lights. We'll hop into the back seat for a little bit. It's got the sliding doors, obviously. Power sliding doors aren't optional on this generation. The generation after that did come with that option. But hey, at least it's got a lot of back seat room, which is what you would expect from a van. We'll hop into the third row of seats as well. You can also pull this lever underneath here to gain easier access, which I've always found to be useful. I mean, even the third row of seats, there's still quite a bit of room. And now the seats aren't on a track, so you can't slide them back and forth, unlike in the Citroen Jumpy, Ford Picasso, and Peugeot 5008. I know that because they're two very similar vehicles, and I, of course, reviewed a 5008 recently. But these don't slide either. So there's actually a nice amount of back seat room in the third row of seats. Of course, we got our power outlet and everything. Let's hop back out. I mean, really, the fact that this folds up makes it so much easier to get in and out. And I'm gonna have to put this up off of camera. There we go. Because you have to pull the lever and then use your other hand to put it up. Go ahead and check out the trunk for a little bit. Of course, it's got the large hatch. Huge. Yeah, there's the trunk. And actually, I never really explained this button in my review, because I also reviewed this thing back in January, just like the Pixo. Those were the first two cars that I actually reviewed in France and of 2019, which was interesting. So that means I've actually only ever reviewed cars in France so far. Of course, we got our rear parking sensors right here. But back to the button, it's actually to raise and lower the car, which I thought was only a thing on SUVs, but this thing has it. We were trying to use it earlier on, because earlier on, for some reason, the car was like kind of low on that side and really high on the other. Now it's more level. It's not perfectly level, but it's okay for now. And we tried to level the vehicle and it wasn't really working that well. I guess this quality of air suspension wasn't as good from Citroen because they never really made many SUVs. As far as I know, there's only one SUV that they made, which was the Citroen C-Crosser, but that was pretty much just the Mitsubishi Outlander. And also, as far as crossovers, they made the C4 Aircross, which was basically a Mitsubishi ASX. And also the thing about the Aircross, I know that because I did research on one and I have a review of one as well. I'll leave that in the description as well, I guess. Of course, we got our power folding mirrors. Oh, passenger one didn't struggle. Maybe that's only upon unlocking the car. So we'll go ahead and shut the door. And of course, turn off all the lights. Yeah, there's your screen and all the controls for it right here. Of course, the 6-speed manual transmission. And reverse with rear parking sensors. It was only the generation after this that had the option of a backup camera. Wasn't available on this one. Yeah, here's our climate controls and everything. So overall, not a bad van. Now, to the topic of this thing getting used a lot more. When I told you the Pixo had 86,000 kilometers when I got here in January, and now it has 90,000. This, when I got here, had 160,000 kilometers on it, and now it has 173,000 kilometers on it. So in the past 5 months, this thing has gotten 4,000 kilometers put on it, while this has had 13,000 kilometers put on it. But there's a good reason for that. It's because this thing has been back and forth from here to Chaumont an abundance of times. Chaumont is about, I'd say, 70 kilometers away from here, or about an hour drive. It's also been back and forth from Paris a number of times. So, and it's usually the vehicle that they use for road trips. And I mean, it's a minivan, so it makes total sense. Hello, there's me again. The 2 mirrors. It's kind of funny how you can see 2 Lucases in the mirrors, in the rear view mirror and the mirror to keep track of the passengers, rear passengers. It's kind of funny. I don't know why. But anyways, yeah, as I said, this thing's been back and forth from here to Chaumont, here in Paris a number of times. And of course, it's always the vehicle that's used for the road trips. So should be no surprise that this thing gets a lot more kilometers piled on it than the Pixo. Anyways, I think that's going to be a wrap. We'll go ahead and shut it off. All right. And also, one more thing to say. If you remember, it was making this really weird noise for some reason. Wait, does it do it when I lock it? No. Ah, wasn't releasing there. It's got power folding mirrors connected to the car's locking system, and it's just making that noise. I don't know what that is. Because originally it did, and then whenever you close the door, it makes that noise. I think we might have found out what that is, or I did, because it was probably the air suspension, because it keeps giving us a warning that the suspension is kind of failing. And as we were trying to level the vehicle, it actually made that noise. So it gave me the impression that it's probably the air suspension. So that's my diagnosis on that noise for now. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the update video on my host family's 2 vehicles. I'm not going to see them for a while. I think at some point I'll probably be back here to visit them at some point, and then I'll see them again if they're still with them, that is. But this may potentially be the last time I'll ever see them, and this is definitely going to be one of the very last videos you'll ever see of these cars. That's, of course, I said before, that's why I decided to take the opportunity to make one of these videos on them. And also, fun fact, my year abroad is ending early, and if you follow my main channel, Lucas Productions, I made an entire video explaining why that is the case. So if you want to know, go check out that video. I'll leave a link to Lucas Productions in the description below. I don't really talk about that stuff here on this channel because it's obviously cars. And to be completely honest, I'm gonna miss being here because it was really well spent and I found so many friends. It was awesome. I will of course praise them more on my main channel, so there's going to be more vlogs upcoming in the future. And if you don't follow my main channel, you should probably go do that right now because I've got some pretty cool vlogs upcoming this summer. So be sure to stay tuned for that. But anyways, up until then, I hope you enjoyed the last update video on my host family's 2 vehicles. I thank y'all for watching, and I will also, by the way, have more car reviews coming up this summer too. So anyways, thank y'all for watching, and I will see you next video. Goodbye.